Hello, my name is Alan Jones and I live in Manchester, England. This is the first of a series of videos in which I hope to tell you all about squeezes at Contract Bridge. I hope to tell you the terminology, show you a typical squeeze ending, tell you the 5-point plan by which you can implement a squeeze. And after the first 6 videos in which I cover the theory, there should be an extended series of hands. All of these hands have squeezes embedded in them, so I'll be using those to show you how the plan operates to effect a squeeze in practice. The examples will be done with my friend and mentor Adam Weisberg, who will also be publishing this series on his webpage. So let's begin here, and the first thing I want to have a look at are the cards that might become tricks for you. So my first piece of terminology, a threat. A threat is a card that can only be beaten by one of your opponents. When you see a word in red like this, I am defining a technical term which I will be using in this and the rest of the videos. So threat is a technical term, and that's what it means. And you, for reasons you'll see soon, you'll need 2 threats for a simple squeeze to actually operate. Now, threats are very important. So before I move on, I'd like to actually show you how to identify threats in practice. So have a look at this overhead here. These are not 4 hands. These are actually 4 individual suits, each one of which are illustrating an aspect of threats. And these illustrate threats from rank, how high up in the pecking order the card actually is. The Queen of Spades, having a look at the spade suit, the Queen of Spades is a threat because only one card can beat it, so only one player can own it, East in this case, therefore the Queen is a threat. The red suits illustrate that the Jack, when you have the ace and the Jack might be a threat. Half the time, roughly, both of the King and the Queen are in the same hand, and then only one player can beat the Jack, so the Jack would be a threat. That would be illustrated in the heart suit. Half the time, they'll be split, and then it's not a threat. The Diamond Jack is not a threat because both of the players can actually beat the Jack. Some squeezes rely on optimism. You might need the Jack to be a threat, so you cross your fingers and hope it's like the heart suit and not like the diamond suit. And the club suit illustrates more typically how a threat arises. You see, it's quite rare just for dummy to hit deck and you think, oh, that Queen of Spades is going to be a threat later on. Suppose you're playing the contract and you have that club suit. You would probably lead the Queen of Clubs from dummy. West is supposed to cover the second of touching cards, but he may not know you've got the Jack. After all, your hand is hidden. So suppose he covers the Queen with the King. You play the ace and he follows suit, either gives count or reverse count or something. So we're left with the following cards. And the one that's of interest to me here is the 9 of clubs. There is now only one card out that can beat it. Therefore, the 9 of clubs is definitely a threat. Only one player will be able to beat it. So that's how threats can arise during the play. They don't necessarily leap to mind when you first see dummy go down on the deck. More interesting to me are threats which come from length, because people often miss them because they're distracted by other things. So let's start again. These are all just individual suits. Let's have a look at the spade suit. Most of us looking at this would say, oh, I hope the spades break 3-3, then I'll have an extra winner of the 6 of spades, which is true. But of course, 2/3 of the time, they will not break. And, well, then you have a threat, believe it or not, because however they have now broken, not 3-3, only one of the players will be able to beat that 6. So when you have a holding like that, you should always see if you can also work the cashing of the ace king queen into a squeeze, because part of the squeeze will be cashing ace king queen. So if you can add another dimension to the play of the hand, a squeeze feature, you improve your chances of making the contract. And the same is true in the heart suit. Even easier to miss it now that the 6 could be a threat if they break 4-2 or 5-0. Because, of course, you say, oh, most of the time, i.e. 2/3 of the time, they're going to break 3-2 and the 6 will anyway be a winner. Maybe, but there again, why not plan for the 4-1 break and see if you can fit a threat of the 6 of hearts into a squeeze. The diamond suit is much the same. Here it will be the 8 of diamonds. Of course, normally you'd play off ace, king, queen of diamonds and concede a diamond and set up a winner for yourself. No problems. But maybe you're in 3 of trumps. Maybe they've already taken 4 winners. So docking a diamond is perhaps not the best option for you. If you only need 1 winner and simple squeezes only produce 1 extra winner for you, rather than conceding tricks, if you don't get a 3-3 break, why not set that suit up so that the 8 of diamonds is a threat card? Because if they haven't broken, only one of the players will be able to beat the 8 of diamonds. And the club suit illustrates the fact that you can have threats which look like perfectly innocuous cards when they started life. Little humble things. This humble thing here is the 8 of clubs, which isn't a threat because it can be beaten by, well, almost everything that the opposition own. But let us suppose that in the play of the hand, we first of all concede a club trick, let them have one. Then we play off the ace of clubs and ruff a club. Suddenly, nobody can beat the ace of clubs except your left-hand player or the right-hand player. It is impossible for them to both be able to beat the 8. Or again, you could simply duck 2 clubs. You'll have the ace and the 8 left, and only one of the opposition will be able to beat the 8. So these are the ways that threats can arise, and it's a matter of looking at a hand with new eyes. Beforehand, you would have just seen, in the heart suit that is probably a winner for me. But now, add this extra dimension. You may not use it in a squeeze, but the idea is to say, oh, I've got a threat there. You never know. Keep it in mind. It might be useful later on. Well, that's threats, and I think that's enough for now. So I'll leave you, and I'll tell you more about, things you want to know in video 2. See you then, I hope. Bye-bye for now.